bought this at a flea market a couple of years ago, and I loved the stainless steel finish, and I was sure I could do something with it someday. Well, that someday came, and here is the fire water extinguisher. My goal, and it worked out beautifully, was to encase a bottle of whiskey inside of this 1967 vintage fire extinguisher. So here's an overview. This bottle of whiskey is cradled inside the body of the extinguisher. Switch, 9-volt battery, 9-volt pump, polyethylene tubes, whiskey comes out.
What the heck are we making today?
He said something bottle in that bumbling way.
Obvious. Power tools a plan and some time on his hands.
And plastic tubes a pump and stuff to line a large man's pants.
Pockets. Hey Joe, where you going with that tool in your hand?
Is that a 3/4 inch wrench?
Or are you happy just to see a friend?
He's got pliers and fingers.
He knows which way to unscrew.
He's got a weird fascination for this thing that he'll show you.
So hold on, because he's sure this will blow you away.
He believes it's quite fascinating.
Now this is quite fascinating. This tube here is called a bourdon, or a burden tube. And as pressure inside the extinguisher increases, it attempts to straighten out the tube. And that is transferred by a series of levers and gears. It's amplified, that movement is amplified, and it moves the pointer. Oh, look at that. It's barely perceptible.
Oh, cowbell and wrenches. There's never enough. Just grab a handful and throw them up.
More.
You barely know one end from the other.
More cowbell.
And now he's wondering how he'll take this apart. So of course he'll drill and tap it out. Such a blow, such savoir-faire. Trying to find a word which rhymes with that without mentioning hair.
And now he's thinking that with some editing, it might conceal the fact he don't know what he's doing. But he sure is in a chatty mood today.
A few things I need to do now. Install this momentary switch that'll turn on the pump. Inside somehow this cavity here, and run the tubing through the front port. So possibly this could fit under the handle, though I would have to empty that out a bit. Yeah, maybe drill that out.
And he's off
to the drill press. This is a real white knuckle nail biting red hot grabby brass test. Because the thing about brass is that it's really grabby. It'll wrap around your drill bit and it'll never let go. You'll have to shake it off like a dog from your pant leg. Shut it down, back it out before your fuses blow. Kicking up more flakes than Miss Water Buffalo. Looking high and low, looking high and low, looking high and low for Miss Water Buffalo. Gold, gold, this is just brass.
Yes.
Bane wants his mask back, oh baby. Bane wants his mask back, but enough about that. Using an assortment of specialized hand tools. Oh, old Gabby Pants speaks again.
After drilling out and grinding the interior of the head, which is all brass, right? I found this amazing little tool here, this bit, which really just reamed the inside, just like crazy. It just ground out the interior of the head. pieces were flying all over the place. Now, the switch fits beautifully in here. I'll put the handle back on with the rivet. And I've got enough room for my tube right here. All I need to do now is widen this up a bit and probably chop some of this off too, because I don't want, whatever's been through here over the last 50, 60 years, I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll keep it clean.
He's drilling again. He's drilling again. He's drilling again on his Porter cable. Bench drill press, almost sure he's able. We punch through more brass with a 2164, 3.2 amps 5 speed, 1/2 horse power.
So this will run through the entire length. This is so good. I'll also need corks from the cork department. So originally I'd intended on using a regular cork like this one, but since I have at least one hole that I need to drill through it, it's very porous. So I switched for one of these corks. So this is one of the holes, right? No problem. I can even put a bit of sealant here, but I think I'll need a second hole for a check valve. So basically a check valve allows a gas or liquid to flow in one direction but not the other. In our case, we'll use what we've got here, a ball bearing and a weak spring. Now, if we look at it this way, this is exactly what we've got. And we've got the ball bearing here, traveling inside the empty space, and a spring. And if necessary, I'll also put a small O-ring right here to give it a tighter seal. Should work. There it is.
Have you seen this table?
Yep.
Have you seen how he's able to just roll across the floor? It's got some mighty fine wheels now. Take this metal chop saw, it was a real sweet deal. From Pennsylvania, shipped through FedEx or some other carrier, but that's beside the point. It cuts through steel like butter.
Wait, did you just rhyme carrier and butter?
I suggest you'd invest. Take this inner voice advice, get a better bench top vice, or maybe find a way to clamp it down so it doesn't run away. Bending metal's never been more fun. He's got a handle on this project with his pretty gloves. He's got a handle on this project, though he has no plan. He'd like to think that he does, but he never has. Red hot sparks really do the trick, burning holes in his pants, exposing his. Take off the mark with his caliper. Reach in the drawer for a bigger washer.
Carefully aligning the various internal components of the fire water extinguisher, our good man carefully marks off where the steel cradle's mounting screws will be attached to the body. Using his trusty spring-loaded automatic center punch ensures his drilling will be true and precise. And then he did this.
Isn't just the time, it also helps to define a screw. More a bolt in this case. It's a size 10 bolt with 24 threads per inch. Have you seen this table?
Yes, we have.
Have you seen how he's...
Yes, we've seen the table.
Well, have you seen his nice hat?
It's the frigging welding
and
helmet.
his really cool gloves.
Actually, yeah, they're cool.
Flux core arc welding, first developed in the early 1950s, is a semi or fully automatic arc welding process.
It requires a continuously fed consumable tubular electrode containing a flux and a constant voltage. The aforementioned flux generates the necessary protection from the atmosphere, producing both gaseous protection and a liquid slag protecting the weld.
Oh, this is taking a dark turn. The grinder?
Social distancing. He's losing it. He's yearning to connect and feed power to the pump, to have the liquid pouring out and taste the whiskey flowing free. As his friends stream in and they gather all around, he knows the embrace of the arms. He feels the warmth in the sound of the laughter in the voices as they all lift their glasses. A little closer to the center of the glow, for it's all that he yearns for. And it's all in that moment that they know. His fire, water extinguisher. Sort of beautiful in
Thanks
a way.
for sharing, but that was really, really personal.
Kind of cringy.
And that's the moment I realized my design was flawed. Because of the check valve fitting in right here, there was no place to fit the pump, which should have been right here. So I installed a plate for the pump and the battery at the bottom. That works out.
Back to the drumming board, they say. Back to the chopping and assembling, if you say so. Clips on cutting floor won't stay. Welding and grinding something potato. He could find better words to express how he feels when he's there in the flow. Looking back at this thing, he's afraid that the moment has gone potato. He can't find that word, which he can't quite grasp. Potato, it eludes and perturbs. It's a placeholder, potato.
Please remain seated as he shows you this potato.
This model here is the Weller ML200 Magnalite Butane Tabletop Torch. What I've done, because if you use it properly, you have to turn, pull, push, and then push back in. You need 2 hands and 3 or 4 friends to light it. Or take off these little stickers here. I'm not saying you should, but if you want to know how it works, there are some screws. This opens up and you can fiddle around, take a little spring off and a little lever. So then you just need 1 hand to light it.
All right, let's get back to the program with some cold hard facts and details on this build, and he's back.
And from the battery department, 9 volts. But you know what's inside here? There are 6 quadruple A batteries all stacked up. Stop. These are not actually quadruple A batteries. These are LR61s. And they're 3.5 millimeters shorter than quadruple A's, but you can still use them if you're in a bind. Anyway, if you short circuit one of these, it might explode. There have been house fires caused by short-circuited 9-volt batteries. So either you keep a cap on this, or put a bit of masking tape on it. You should always use a battery tester. Yeah, it's so good.
And what we have here is victory!
Yeah!
The electrical components of their prototype fire water extinguisher are fully functional, but some further assembly is required to get those juices flowing. Some heat is required to soften the connections of the high-quality polyethylene tubes which run throughout the system. Everything is carefully cut to spec, and he uses his potato gadget to heat the tube section. Ouch, that's hot. Another type of potato gadget is used as a sort of space-age heat ray. And we're mere seconds from finally getting this modern miracle of advanced tinkering off the ground. Yes, we have contact. The pump is working. Whiskey is flowing. We're waiting for confirmation, but all we can say at the moment is that the workshop smells like a tavern, and Farmer Brown would like his overalls back.
Problem. So it's done, and it's working perfectly, except that it's not working perfectly. The thing is that it doesn't stop running. Water just keeps, well, water in this case, but whiskey usually just keeps pouring out. Some water keeps running through the motor, through the pump, and it's pulled out by what, a siphoning effect, possibly. So I'm going to install another check valve, small, cheap plastic check valve, right here. This check valve needs a bit of pressure to open up the diaphragm. And if it doesn't have enough pressure, it just shuts off. So let's try that. I just hope this pump is strong enough for the diaphragm. So right about here should do. Yeah.
This is clever, but you're a fraud. To be unmasked as an imposter is your greatest fear of all, but in that flow of creating, you're untouchable and saintly in that semi-state of grace. This thing you built is priceless, or maybe not.
So you pull the trigger. That sets off the pump connected to a 9-volt battery on the back here, and which pumps whiskey out. Well, okay, it's kind of self-explanatory, right? Okay. Oh, look at this beauty.
Hey man, you made something cool, but hey, it took you 2 years to think about it. Hey man, you went through all your tools and 2 days to build and 2 weeks to sing about it. Hey man, it's pumping party fuel, but hey, there's no one around to drink it. Hey man, you know it's something cool. You can't really use it, you know where to hang it.
Safety. And slancha. Oh!
And I just realized while editing this that the external microphone wasn't picking up any sound. But I'm not starting this over. It's like a once-in-a-lifetime Halley's Comet type event. So, you know, I'm sorry, but it'll get better. And nothing is perfect, right? So as I was doing the final editing, the montage, and I realized that I had a spot on my t-shirt. You know, it's a minor mistake. But it's done. They're very good now. Okay. I had a piece of spinach stuck in my teeth. Now we're good. I was under the impression that green screen was something you could just sort of add like a Photoshop filter after shooting video. I hadn't realized that you could see everything in back here, and I'm sorry.